So I love Pokemon. Maybe I wouldn't go so far to call myself a Pokemon fanatic, where I would spend an enormous amount of money on the franchise, but I would spend a dumb amount of money buying both versions of every mainline game, because I'm dumb. As much as one person can enjoy playing through the story mode, some people go a step further to a realm where only the best play, in something that I personally never got the appeal of, that being the Pokemon competitive scene. The competitive scene for Pokemon is huge, with there being huge official tournaments that are held yearly with hundreds of people from around the world attending. From the TCG, the mainline games, and even Pokemon Go itself, which is interesting to watch and get into, I guess. I would imagine having played Cookie Clicker would help out a lot. But for this video, I'm going to solely focus on the competitive side for the mainline games. Now, if you're someone who's wanting to get into the competitive scene for the games, then good luck, buddy, as you would have to spend an obscene amount of time and potentially a decent amount of money to even build a team. As it would consist of you having to research which Pokemon work well with one another for the perfect team, strategizing if it works well or not through Pokemon Showdown, having already owned the games and spend time hatching or catching each Pokemon while hoping you got the right one with the right IV, EV, nature, and ability. Then, if you really want to, you'll probably be spending more time hunting for the shiny version of said Pokemon with the perfect stats. All of this combined will probably take you the same amount of time as the average length it would take you to beat Spider-Man for the PS4. And that's insane! Now there is a faster alternative, which is to download PK Hacks, which lets you manipulate your save to let you spawn in your desired Pokemon with the right build, as well as making them shiny or not. This method, in all honesty, is the best and preferred way to build your team, because building your team the legit way is so time consuming, and if you care about your sanity and life, then you'll just hack them in. But of course, if you are to play in official tournaments, then of course the Pokemon Company does not care about your life, or make an alternative solution. Instead, if they catch you using any sort of hack Pokemon, even if they're one-to-one similar to a legit one, they'll either disqualify you or ban you. This controversy caused so much uproar within the community, but this video isn't meant to cover all that debacle, and plus, it's probably old news by now. Instead, if you really want to see how long it takes to build a team, then I'll have a really good video linked in the description that goes over that. But all of this is to say that I'll be hacking my Pokemon because I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long with me building my team. And I'm just looking at the script and realize I never mentioned what it is I'm doing for this video. But judging from the title, you can guess that I'm going to be trying out competitive Pokemon. Now this is not going to be a video of me entering an official tournament, or an online one, or even a serious one at that. The battles will be against my friends who are also building their own competitively viable team. This idea really was just an on-the-spot type of moment when talking to my friends about having an end-of-semester get-together dinner at a restaurant. The idea was basically that the four of us would now mention that we're doing this to our other friends as a funny surprise. So this is going to be a friendly competition between the four of us, but I'm still in it to win, so let me get into the rules and what game we'll be playing. For the game, we'll be going all the way back to Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Why? Well, since the 3DS is dead and it's pretty much easy to mod, we can all get ORAS installed and also manipulate our saves to build our team. While we do have the most recent games, Scarlet and Violet, to hack our Pokemons in, I'm pretty sure we'll be needing to mod our Switches, which is something that we're not prepared to do yet, so that's why we're not using the current games. Now for the rules, we opted for an anything goes sort of play, with the exception being that we weren't going to make any stall teams. That's because since we're going to be at a restaurant, we don't want to hold up our friends or people wanting to be seated. So with that explained, let's get into the team building process. Originally, I was going to scour all over the internet seeing what were the best competitive teams for this game, and just straight up copy that. But I felt that was a bit boring for this video, so I decided to turn to someone else to add a bit of another layer for this video. This will either be the most shittiest team or a stupidly good one. That's right, like the brain-rotted person I am, not as much as Genshin players, my dumbass will rely on AI to help me win this competition. This will surely not go wrong at all. Now because I'm going to be facing 3 of my friends, I'm going to take the extra step and not only build one team, no, I'm going to be building 3 teams to go against them. That way they won't know what to expect. Again? Surely this won't go wrong. So all that's left to do is let ChatGPT build my team and then hack them in. I don't really know where or what source the AI is using to make these teams because, if you're unaware, ChatGPT just uses the internet to look for the best possible answer it can find and regurgitates it to you. And since I'm not knowledgeable in competitive Pokemon, I'm not sure if the team that the AI built is actually good, but looking at it, I'm just going to assume that they're fine. So after some technical difficulties with PK hacks and making 2 teams using AI, I then decided to forego the idea of making all 3 of my teams using AI, and turn to the internet to make the 3rd team. This time, I decided to go back to my original idea, and look for the best team that won an official Pokemon tournament, and the one I decided to go with was Wolfie's 2016 team. If you're into competitive Pokemon unlike me, then you may or may not know about his team, which if you do, then cool, but if not, then sorry, but I won't be explaining it. I will, however, link his video where I got the info on his build in the description, if you're that curious about it. I'll sort of talk more about why I won't explain it when I get into the match where I use it myself. Then, as sort of a last minute idea, I remembered that one of my friends is a big fan of Sharpedo. And we have a meme where Sharpedo is not marketable since we can never find any merch of the Pokemon. So, I decided to make an entire joke team composed of only Sharpedos for him. So he'll have to sit there and kill his favorite Pokemon, one by one. Because they're funny. I used ChatGPT to see if it could come up with something funny, but yeah, the team was pretty much what I imagined it to be. But yeah, after building all of my teams and putting them into my game, all I had to do now was wait for the day to arrive. So the day of the challenge has finally come. And well, am I gonna win? Who fucking knows? Okay, yeah, I was just saying random shit to get this scene done, but what I was trying to say was, yes, the day has finally arrived for the tournament. All we had to do now is go inside and get our matches ready. So let's go. Oh, we also did this at Hooters, because why not? So after waiting for the rest of my friends to arrive, the ones that weren't in on the plan, and surprising them with our little mess of a tournament, as well as ordering our food, we started the competition. Now in this competition, 2 of my friends are pretty knowledgeable when it comes to building Pokemon teams, as they dabbled in Pokemon Showdown. My other friend on the other hand, while I'm sure he's also played Pokemon Showdown, I don't think he's good at building a competitive team. I mean, he sort of admits that he built his team on what he thought was good. Foreshadowing? Also, I'd like to note that he's a Pokemon fanatic, like the one in the games. But the first opponent I go against is one of my friends that is good at this, so I'm already worried that the team that I made is not going to fare well against him. Or rather, I'm going to mess up what I'm doing because I have no clue how this team is supposed to work.
Get ready for the next battle.
The battle starts and, yup, already a horrible matchup. Also, this is the point where I find out that I'm not able to use the Mega Stone. So, already a huge fuck up that throws a wrench into my plans. But luckily, I'm not the only one as my other friends didn't have access to Mega Evolutions. Well, except for one as they were using their own copy that they already had. Who would have thought you actually had to get far in the game to access it for online battles? Anyways, I am sort of lucky here because my friend here built his team to revolve around using Audino, so without his Mega Bracelet, his plans are also ruined. Back to the battle though, I went ahead and started buffing up my Rayquaza with Sword Dance, as that's what every professional does, I guess. Why not Dragon Dance? I don't know. But after selecting my move, I completely forgot that Audino was a Fairy type, so I was panicking thinking that my Rayquaza was gonna get wiped. But to my surprise, his Audino's Dazzling Gleam did nothing. Not even learning from my mistake, I did another Swords Dance. However, this time I was lucky as he used Protect, thinking I was going to react with an attack. Oh, how wrong he was to assume I was going to try to be smart by attempting to attack him. Though the next turn, knowing that another Protect wouldn't work, I attacked with extreme speed, killing his Audino with a crit. Don't know if I would have killed it without it, but nice to get rid of it nonetheless. He brings out his next Pokemon, which was a Samurott, and again, not learning my lesson, as well as thinking I got lucky with the crit, I used Swords Dance. Yes, you can facepalm right now because the thought of Samurott potentially having an Ice-type move did not even cross my mind. So my best Pokemon, and the one that my entire team relied on, is now dead. It's all downhill from here. Sending out my Raichu, I try to hit it with a Nuzzle to slow it down with Paralyze. However, he switches out to his Hariyama. I switch out to Gengar next, thinking that he'll be using a fighting move, but no, Stone Edge. These next moves I do without thinking much until I decide to have Kyogre out, and thankfully, I don't need a Mega Bracelet to use his primal form. Having him out, he activates his ability which causes rain. And now if I was smart, I could have used a Water-type move to do more damage, but nope. I use Ice Beam, which still does a lot of damage. Granted, not enough to kill him, which is bad because he'll be able to hurt Kyogre with a Stone Edge, but I killed the Hariyama with 2 Ice Beams. His next Pokemon though, Rotom, does kill Kyogre with a Volt Switch. Another good Mon dead. We go back to having Samurott and Raichu on in the field, and this time I do manage to get the Nuzzle in, which paralyzes it. This is where I begin to realize that, hey, I should try to Nuzzle each of his Mons to prevent them from possibly attacking. And it works out in this turn as it isn't able to attack, so I decide to switch out while also doing some damage with Volt Switch, because that's the only attack I have with Raichu. Though he has the same idea and switches out to Magmortar. With Hitmontop out, some chicanery happens with me taking out Raichu again and using Nuzzle once more. Now seeing it use Earthquake, you would imagine me to switch out and not take the risk, but I for some reason just decided to stick through. However, the Raichu tanks it somehow. After a close call, I instantly decide to switch out and have Hitmontop finish him off, which it does, thankfully. He takes out Rotom again, and not having any moves to hit it with, I switch to Bronzong once more. When my friend brought out his Rotom again, I remembered seeing a clip of an official Pokemon tournament where someone also used a Rotom, and they also went for a Will-O-Wisp strategy. One that they kept on missing. But that isn't the point. What is though, is that I thought that my friend would also go for that, and unsurprisingly, he did. And he got it on the first try. God damn it. I thought things were going to go south for my Bronzong, as I thought he was going to be hit with something strong the next turn. However, I completely forgot that he held a Lumberry. So with the burn gone, I gained my confidence back, and I took this turn to use Trick Room so that I'd be able to go first. That same turn, my friend tried getting the burn in again, but luckily for me, they missed. Hit him with a strong Gyro Ball, and they switched out to their last Pokemon, Miss Spirit. It got hit with another Gyro Ball that was meant for Rotom, and it also did a ton of damage to it. The next turn, while I did the same thing, I started to also panic because they used Calm Mind. But there was nothing for me to worry about, because I outsped it thanks to Trick Room, meaning it got wiped. They got out Rotom once again, Gyro Ball, and then it was Samurott left to take out. With Trick Room gone, I still used Gyro Ball just to see how much it'll do, and it did absolutely nothing at all. Well, when they used Hydro Pump, it did insane damage. I started to panic, so much so that I decided to use the same move instead of switching out because I feared that one of my Mons would die. With Bronzong gone, it was all up to Hitmontop to finish him. Not really, cause I still had Raichu, but it sounds cooler if I say that. Picking close combat for him to use, I placed my hope in him. Defeating his Samurott, I leapt from my chair in pure excitement, as I thought I did the impossible. Again, as I thought. So at this point I was super confused as I legitimately thought I did beat him and won the first match. But as I was distracted, by not the waitresses, but my other friends or food, he had switched out his Rotom for his Samurott, making me think that I killed his Rotom. With Bronzong gone and not having Gyro Ball to beat him, I started to panic as again, Hitmontop couldn't do anything to him. I switched out to Raichu, hoping for a miracle to happen, but nope. Shadow Ball, I lose, meaning I lost the first match. Losing this game brought my morale down, as I was beginning to think that I was gonna be a jobber, that I was going to get swept. As we're getting ready for the next match, here are the current results for everybody, and my thoughts on the food I got at Hooters. Yeah, the food kinda sucks, so let's just get on to the next match. Oh yeah, YouTuber mode. I mean, come on. If you're this far in the video, you might as well. Here, I'll also throw in a Nia here. Free of charge. So now it was time for the losers and winners of the previous match to face each other. With my morale being low, I was getting worried about losing the next match, as my next opponent was the friend who built his team on a whim, and also the Pokemon fanatic. But I tossed those worries aside and go in with a winning mindset. And so, the match begins.
Get ready for the next battle.
Using the second team that I built, I send out my Ferrothorn and he begins with a Gardevoir. My friend starts off with a mistake as he uses Side Shock against me, which doesn't do much, while I decided to think ahead and use Stealth Rock. The next turn, my friend actually picks a move that is super effective against me, doing massive damage, but not enough to kill my Ferrothorn, thankfully. However, what he didn't expect was for me to use Gyro Ball, and I think we both forgot that Gardevoir was a fairy type in this generation as I one-shot it. I would say that due to this, my spirits were raised, however, I knew it was too early for me to think I was gonna win. His next Pokemon is Tyranitar, who kills my Ferrothorn, unsurprisingly, though I was able to stall for a turn by using Protect, if that counts for anything. Also, I'm pretty sure he was meant to Mega Evolve his Tyranitar, or I think his Gardevoir? I don't remember, but he was meant to have one of them Mega Evolve. Anyways, I then sent out my Sharpedo and used Waterfall with it, which it hits because he decided to use Taunt for some reason, though he realized his mistake and switched out to Lopunny, named Horny. He knew what he was cooking. But he gets hit with the Waterfall that was meant for Tyranitar, and he immediately realizes the error of his ways, as it deals over half of its HP. Then the next turn, I outspeed it and kill the Lopunny. Thank God. But the next Pokemon he decides to throw out is fucking Black Kyurem, which jump scares me. So now wanting my Sharpedo to die, and making a read, I switched out with Garchomp, and I read him perfectly, as he tried using Fusion Bolt. To which on the next turn, I respond with using Dragon Claw, which I did not expect to kill him, but glad that it did. The next Pokemon he sends out is Garchomp, and so we have a battle of the Garchomps here. But sadly, my Garchomp does not come out on top, as he uses Outrage, which I immediately realized that I should have done that move myself. To counter him, I sent out my Sharpedo again and thought that I could outspeed it. However, I remembered, it's Garchomp! He's fucking fast, and my Sharpedo gets killed. I begin to panic, thinking that I was gonna get swept, until this happens. All according to plan. Is what I would love to say, but really, I just got lucky with this, and Sharpedo pulled a Goku and sacrificed themselves for the team. 07 in the chat, please. But after that, there isn't really much to say except for how funny it was for his Tyranitar to get killed by the Stealth Rocks. But the rest of the fight is just him getting bodied, meaning I secured my first win, and he... well, unfortunately gets another loss, meaning he's one away from getting the title of being the jobber of the competition. I didn't capture his reaction to the loss, but I've been sent an illustration that does closely depict it. That do be him, alright. With that match over with, and these being the current results, I prepare myself for the friend I feared going against. Oh, and this is also the friend that I built the joke team for. So before the official match starts, I want to show off the joke team. Also, this was done after the actual match, so I wouldn't know what his team was beforehand. His reaction to my Sharpedo team went just about how I imagined it. Some may say that this is cruel as I'm making him kill his favorite Pokemon over and over again, which he did call it cruel. However, it's funny. But it should have come as a surprise that he stomped this team. Though what is funny is that I was actually able to take out his Sharpedo with my Sharpedo, so that was funny. But with that intermission over with, it's now time for the actual match. Fearing for what's to come, I knew that I had to go all out. And all out, I went indeed.
We're doing this! We're doing this, baby!
You can never say that I didn't do anything for the content.
ready for the next battle.
Now this new team that I use against him will have some overlap with the previous one, as I start off with Ferrothorn, while he with Tyranitar. I go with the same strategy at the start by using Stealth Rock. However, since he's faster, he goes first and uses Superpower, which nearly kills Ferrothorn. Worried but also thinking that he used the same move again, I use Protect, that way his defense will further decrease, though he probably thought I'd try that, because he uses Earthquake instead. The next turn, I go for a gamble, and use Gyro Ball, which, to my surprise, nearly kills his Tyranitar due to the debuff. Then when he goes for Earthquake again, I was again surprised as it did nothing. Though with my health low, and knowing that he'd go for a stronger move, I used Protect once more and my hunch was right as he went back to using Superpower. This was to my benefit, but knowing that my Ferrothorn would get outsped, I still went for a gamble and used Gyro Ball once more. But it was for naught, as he killed my Ferrothorn, and though that was the case, it was actually to my advantage as he activated its ability, Iron Barbs, which damaged him, killing his Tyranitar. This is just the start, and things are already getting heated. So with both of our first Pokemons already out, I sent out Bisharp, and he came out with his strongest Mon, Metagross. I say strongest because in this one turn, he insta-kills my Bisharp by using Focus Blast. I begin to panic, and the thought of me losing began to flood my mind. I bring out Heatran and use Toxic to at least do something, which he is at least able to, but at the cost of a Focus Blast that does over half of Heatran's health. The next turn, he dies, so out of desperation, I send out Talonflame and use Flare Blitz. Killing it brought my hopes back, but only for a second, as killing it revealed that it was Zoroark, meaning that he still had his Metagross. It never crossed my mind that he could have had a Zoroark, but after killing it, it made complete sense to me as to why he didn't decide to Mega Evolve it. I just thought he was being a good sport and not using it since we didn't have our Mega Bracelet. But thinking back, I should have known that if he had his Metagross out, then he would have instantly Mega Evolved it with no shame at all. I probably would have done the same. With his fake Metagross gone, it was time for him to bring out his actual Metagross into the battlefield. And not only that, but to also Mega Shinka it. That's what they call Mega Evolutions in Japan. As soon as he did this, I could not remember if Mega Metagross' speed also increased. So not having this knowledge, I took a gamble. I was beginning to pop off, until my Talonflame got killed with a return. Next, I bring out Latios to finish off the Metagross, and at the same time, seeing that Talonflame outsped it, I thought it would be the same, but nope, my Latios didn't. But thankfully he didn't get killed and managed to dish out the Draco Meteor, killing the Metagross. He then brings out his favorite Pokemon, the one I was waiting for him to bring out, Sharpedo. With my Latios having Thunderbolt, I thought using it would be the best option. However, he ended up using Protect, which was when I found out that his Sharpedo has a speed boost ability. With the Sharpedo speed drastically increasing, so were my worries, as it going first could determine the fight from here on, which was exactly the case when it went first, killing my Latios with a crunch. Down to my final Pokemon, it was time to bring out my heavy hitter, that being Salamence. With me not having my Mega Bracelets and Mega Evolve Salamence, like how my plan was originally supposed to go, I knew I had to think hard on how to go about this. So with another gamble, not knowing if his Sharpedo knew Ice Fang, I used Dragon Dance, and words cannot describe the events that unfold, so I'll let the footage speak for itself. That's right. Because of one miscalculation on his part, I was able to come out victorious. I don't have footage of it, but when I tell you I popped off, I very much so popped off. Actually, here's a very one-to-one depiction of it.
Yippee!
With this competition now over with, it's time to reveal the results. However, before I do that, I never did state which of the teams I used were made by AI or not. Well, aside from the joke team, of course. But these results are going to shock you as it did for me, because it was only until I rewatched the footage that I realized that I lied to my friends about which teams I used against them. I did tell them beforehand about the use of AI for my teams, and I also did tell them before the match if they were against an AI team or not. But I actually mixed one team up, and that was the first match in this final match. Before this final match, I told my friend that this team was the Wolfie team, but only now do I realize that it was actually the team that ChatGPT made. Huh, it's actually kind of funny since my friend is a computer science major. So what does that mean about the use of AI in competitive Pokemon? Probably nothing, but I don't know. That was not the purpose of this video. I just made it for dumb fun. But with all that revealed and my friend probably going through a mental breakdown with that revelation, it's time to reveal the results. Huh, it's a majority tie with everyone. Well, this is awkward. A two-way tie for the overall winner and for 3rd and 4th place. Well, since the placing for the bottom two don't really matter, me and my friend decide the victor over a good game of Junkin. Or rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors? Okay.
Just the first one.
Just first one.
Rock,
Paper, scissors, shoot!
Hey, what do you have to say about your last match?
Rigged. Rigged.
Well, this is further awkward now. But since this is my video, I'm able to change the outcome to whatever I want it to be. Hell yeah. Oh, also, the Fudo Hooters? Never again. Never again. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave a comment if you guys want to see more of something like this. I already have something sort of similar in mind, but not Pokemon related. Also, yes, I will release the ultra big video on the last 3DS game that I was supposed to last year. I just wanted to release something for now so that there isn't a huge upload gap. But yeah, again, if you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as again, commenting on what you guys would love to see next. That's all for now, and have yourself a damn good one.